Oh. Fucking hell. I'm so fucking tired.
The evolutionary past of humans, the fact that we evolved eating meat, that the
Hey everyone.
Paul Saladino. Fucking hate that bitch so fucking much. I have not found that it gets easier the longer you're awake. If anything, quite the opposite. They keep making Chad face mods. Oh, fuck. Plays Shenmue. I don't think we're gonna be doing that. Dodo donated $3. Let me see.
I'm talking about the kind of speech that really gets in the head of people who want to do
Yeah, I'm gonna play Mouse PI. Yeah, that game looks good.
grave damage to other people. Incitement. And I'm not talking about it in an ambiguous way. When you get a guy that talks about killing a senator, oh, I really didn't mean it. Or when you get a guy that says, yeah, I don't know if there's really rape. Can you prove it? And so forth on October 7th. Well, he's allowed to say that. But in the pattern of what this person is saying, what is it that they're trying to do? Have a real discussion? No. No, he'll say that, but he's not. The overthrow of the country, let me ask you this. Do you think the founders would have put up with this?
If you want an example
I'm assuming he's talking about Hassan, right?
of the types of discussions or debates that Mark Levin engages in, just check out his interview with Joe Kent. You know, the Trump official who stepped down from the administration after Israel goaded us into a disastrous war against Iran.
They did not goad the U.S. into a disastrous war with Iran.
Yeah, that Joe Kent. Because he was kind enough to go on Mark Levin's show. Mark Levin wasn't interested in having a debate or a discussion. The hog pretended like he couldn't hear Joe Kent. As soon as Joe Kent started cooking, he immediately went to break. That's who Mark Levin is. Mark Levin's loyalty is not to the United States or its Constitution or the American people. Mark Levin's loyalties lie someplace else, and he proves it every single day. Whenever someone in this country, someone who has a microphone, someone who has the power of the bully pulpit to push for something, decides to push for the deterioration of Americans' constitutional rights on behalf of a foreign country, that person is not loyal to the United States. Clearly, clearly. My heritage is Armenian. I love Armenia. I love the Armenian.
Okay, well, that was stupid. So she's complaining about a guy who doesn't like Hassan threatening people. That makes sense. Bruce Springsteen, Donny Tillers. ICE was live on the island of St. Bart's in the Caribbean, saw Dr. Phil after talking about how other streamers fail to find interesting content.
Like, what the fuck? Like, they're not, bro. They over here trying to make anything happen. I just walk around and shit happens. Like, it's just so easy, dude. It's just too fucking easy. Hey, Dr. Phil. How are you? Sorry, I just was walking through. Big fan. All right. Dr. Phil, by the way. Like, what the?
Well, I guess that's why he's a big streamer. He runs into people like Dr. Phil or crack addicts. Thanks for the donation, Bruce Springsteen.
Anna herself is Armenian. Will that says a lot about her and why she is defending a shithole like Palestine?
Yeah, it might explain that. I think she's probably just a bitch. But, you know, who knows? I'd say she's just a bitch. Thanks for the donation, though, Dodo. Dude. Holy fuck, today? Just. Ugh, so fucking tired. I was absolutely wrecked after that back workout today. Annihilated. Did you see Jenks take on bestiality? No, did not. I'm assuming he's okay with people fucking pigs or goats.
You know, VG, it amazes me that these SJWs who for years were saying freedom of speech does not mean freedom from consequences are now bitching that there are consequences for saying anti-Semitic shit online.
Doesn't surprise me. Every accusation is an admission with these people, so. Thanks for the donation though, Dodo.
You think this was like a TikTok thing?
It is a TikTok thing. I clocked it immediately.
Nice. Good job mopping that.
These idiots are going to do this to the wrong guys or a guy that's having a bad day, and they're going to get hurt.
When a TikTok prank draws millions of views online, a young influencer sets out to top it with an even bigger viral hit. But after one stunt spirals into chaos and violence, the attention it brings is not the kind he had in mind.
Chevy police, come to the front door, nothing in your hands.
The following is based on official police records to date, and some of the footage has never been seen before until now. Please note that all persons charged with a crime are presumed innocent unless and until proven guilty in a court of law. On March 17, 2025, police in Tempe, Arizona respond to a Chipotle after the manager, Emma, reported an unusual encounter at the restaurant.
I'm assuming you're Emma?
Yeah.
Can you tell me what happened?
Yeah, I can show you videos. I had a customer.
You think this was like a TikTok thing?
It is a TikTok thing. I clocked it immediately. And yeah, it was just like harassing and just getting in the face and stuff.
Your personal sizes have been lacking, so I'm here to make sure you guys are staying in check. Get out my door. So I'm gonna clean house. Go ahead and bring in the guys. What is going on? No,
No, you guys need to leave.
You guys are workers. These are my workers. No, these are my workers. These are my workers. No, you have to let. Get out of my store. Mop, I need everyone cleaning. Doing a great job, sir. Hey, nice. Good job mopping that. I need workers to check that the chicken's all right. No, get out of my store, bro. Let's pick this up. Get the napkins we stocked over here, guys.
They're not.
Got you, boss.
They're touching like literally everything.
The group of fake workers all appear to be dressed in Chipotle-branded hats and T-shirts. Emma claims that business was disrupted by the group's behavior, some of which was captured on video by an employee and customer.
Double B, why don't we give up? Double B, come on. my God, no, get out of my store. Wait, I'm my store.
These kids need their ass beat. The Universal Mathematics donated $2.
That was insane.
You realize how fake it all is, the football, the basketball.
Yeah, I don't care about Asmongold, dude, so thanks for the donation.
You're doing a great job, sir. Now,
Could not give a fuck about any video with Asmongold on it.
It was delicious. Yeah.
Free stocked over here, guys. All right, good job, sir. I appreciate that. Who wants to go back in the back, check everything's good?
And this is exactly why TikTok should be banned.
No, just beat the fuck out of these kids. They should pay me to do it. Just go out and beat up TikTokers. That'd be great. Love to beat up these little fucking overprivileged shits. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
Oh my God.
All right, everyone, we quit. Just play it. Let's go.
Do you want the incident documented, or since they're gone?
I mean, they're gone, so I guess it's fine. I don't know if we need to document it or not.
It's up to you. However you want it.
I mean, there's not much to do about it, so it's fine.
Yeah.
By the time police arrived, the video had already begun circulating online, and it didn't take long for Emma to locate the source.
Oh, this is the TikTok guy, actually. This is his TikTok. Heston James. He's been going around a whole bunch of different stores.
The TikTok account at Terra Clout is owned by 24-year-old Heston James Cobb. On both TikTok and Instagram, Heston gained a following by pranking employees at recognizable stores, including Target, Michaels, Home Depot, and Best Buy. His Instagram reels alone have been collectively viewed over 700 million times.
I'm not sure if this is the exact kid, but I dealt with someone that was doing this at like Little Caesars. Yeah, I think I've seen this guy's videos.
According to police records, no formal report was taken on this incident. As it stood, no one was harmed or assaulted, and nothing was damaged or taken from the restaurant. Less than 4 months later, however, Tempe officers would once again hear the name Heston James. On July 2, 2025, Heston and his group appeared at a Jiffy Lube auto shop. This time, the fake workers donned blue jumpsuits, carried tools, and pretended to work on cars, as captured on both an employee's phone and the company's security cameras.
All right, yo, what's going on over here?
Hey, it's a little
What the cop, dude?
I got the place.
Hey, I'm Okay, everyone, let's go. All right, let's go. Everyone, let's go to the next shop. Well done. Let's go. Oh yeah, I got a bunch of guys.
According to police records, no one was assaulted, nothing was stolen or damaged, and if Heston recorded anything, it wasn't published to his social media platforms. But he was far from finished. The next day, Heston's group targeted 3 more auto shops, including one owned by a man named Dave, who shares his fears that their actions will quickly lead to dangerous consequences if they aren't stopped.
These idiots are going to do this to the wrong guys, or a guy that's having a bad day, and they're going to get hurt.
Officers learned that those concerns became a reality during the group's final prank of the day, when they were dispatched to a Pep Boys after a 911 caller reported a strong-arm robbery.
Hello.
Hi. Have you guys seen these two before or anything?
No.
Or how many were there?
15. 10 to 15 guys. Whatever fits in that van. It was loaded.
Seriously?
Yes.
Wow. All right.
It was loaded. Nothing that we've ever seen before. Pardon me for being frank.
You guys are sad. If
but,
you want to bring me the link, I'll send my camera footage.
Cool. I will
but that was
do that.
scary.
Though they had no working cameras, the manager's account of what happened closely mirrors a video Heston posted to TikTok, showing the same prank unfolding at a different auto shop. Just like in the video, the Pet Boys manager claims they were approached by two young men who said they were from corporate.
I'm just going to be bringing in all my guys because you guys have been doing a really slow job. I've been getting multiple complaints. I'm from corporate, I told you. So this corporate thing. I'm calling in my guys, and they're going to be working on all these cars. They're not? Get to calling them. Oh, get to calling them? All right, let's see. Here they are right here. I think this is them right here. Come on, everyone, come on. Everyone, get to work.
An employee of the Pet Boys described seeing the group pile out of the van much in the same way.
It was a full-size passenger van that holds 15 people, and there was a ton of them coming out. It was like a clown car, just one after another. All of them holding tire irons, tools of some sort, weapons, then piling out, literally right on through the bay. And I was telling them, nope, nobody comes in. They forced their way in.
Did anybody touch you?
Forced their way through.
Pushed it over.
They touched, yes, and pushed.
And push?
Yeah.
How did they push it?
It might not have been with hands, it could have been with shoulders, but I was moved out of the way so that they could gain access.
In the TikTok recording, the fake employees can be seen carrying in tools, which they use as they pretend to work on the cars under Heston's instruction.
Yo, everyone, take that tire off. Take that tire off, quick. I got stuff for you, yo. Everyone, check the oil. Check the oil. It's good.
I'd whoop one of these kids up the head if I was working at one of these shops.
Everyone, get under there. Get under there. Nice. Well done. Get out. Yeah, oh yeah, nice. Good job, everyone. That's good. I can't do cheaper than 1,000.
You can just tell they're like fucking assholes.
For the catalytic, I'm telling you, it's leaking oil. Nice.
Though the recorded incident ended in a clean getaway for the pranksters, the one at Pet Boys took a very different turn. The manager explains that when the fake employees began trying to work on customers' cars, he armed himself with a torque wrench and told them all to leave.
Everybody out. Get the out of the shop.
Yep.
Get out of here. They were backing out, and Alex, the manager, was in front of the van. They started moving towards it, so I took the crowbar and I hit the windshield to get the driver to stop, and that's what I saw there, yeah.
According to the employee, the windshield as well as both the driver and passenger side windows were shattered before the group escaped. After interviewing other employees, officers learned that one of the pranksters took a tire iron that belonged to the store, and another shoved a technician during a physical altercation. According to police records, one of the videos had amassed roughly 8.9 million views by mid-July, along with 448,000 likes and over 4,000 comments. The detective later spoke with Dave, the owner of one of the targeted auto shops, who emphasized the impact the video seemed to have on the employees.
The tire store that he hit, the one that actually got posted, that's the Big Brand Tire there on Southern and Mill.
Yep.
You need to go and talk to that kid. He has people driving by his location and heckling him as he's trying to work. It happened last week.
Oh, wow.
He was the one that actually in the video reached down and yanked the kid out from underneath the car. Because the engine was just sitting there balanced on a 2x4 because the transmission was out of the car and he didn't want that kid getting crushed.
Oh, Jesus.
They're crawling under cars and stuff. Their buddy leans against the rack. And he pushes that thing down. You think that kid's gonna think it was funny at that point that he killed his friend? Probably not.
1 week later, on July 23, 2025, police prepare to arrest 24-year-old Heston James at his home and execute a search warrant.
They had food delivered about 10 minutes ago, so there are people home.
Tempe Police Department, we have a search warrant. You need to come to the front door with nothing in your hands.
Heard something. Yep.
Hey guys, we know you're inside. We have a search warrant for the residents. You have to come to the front door. I can hear doors opening and closing inside. I can hear all kinds of stuff moving inside. It's the police department. We have a search warrant. Yeah, open the door and I'll show it to you. We don't get to negotiate. Open the door and I'll show it to you. I have it here. Open the door and I'll show it to you. What's that? It's for the house. I have a search warrant for the house. It's signed by a judge at the Superior Court. You got to come outside. You need to come outside. It doesn't matter who we're looking for. We have a warrant for the house. Come outside and I'll show it to you. Okay. Okay, I know what you're ready. Put your hands on your back. Step away from the door for me. We cover our back door. Yep. Step forward. You have any weapons on you, Heston? No. All right. So we have a search
Suddenly it's not funny anymore. Oh, it's just a prank, bro.
warrant for the house. Right now you're under arrest, okay? You're under arrest for a few different things. Disorderly conduct, trespassing, criminal impersonation, and burglary.
Well, what's the why are you searching the house though? What does that have to do with anything?
Let me show you the search warrant, but it's relative to the case that we have.
Okay.
So it's the pranks that you've been doing, like all over at the auto shops and at the Chipotle and stuff.
I'm not going to say anything until the lawyer present.
That's fine. But I'll show you the search warrant, but we do have a warrant for the house to grab some things out of there. I'll show you the warrant. What we're looking for is on that warrant, okay?
Heston states that he lives with 2 other roommates, but he isn't sure if either of them are currently home. Officers cautiously clear the house 1 room at a time.
There are cats in here. Yeah. Do you wanna pop it and I'll
Whenever you're ready, come get attacked by your cat. Ready? There's TV on there.
Okay.
There's TV on there.
Hey, Tempe Police!
Tempe Police!
If you're in here, you need to come out with your hands up. Oh. Hey, put your hands on top of your head.
Okay.
Face away from me.
Sorry.
Face away. Yep. Yeah, hands.
Cross your fingers. Walk with me. Step on your left.
I think you misjudge the gorillas, VG. They can be very gentle, such as this.
Now, an amazing video classic. Jersey, England. 5-year-old's unconscious.
So I didn't.
Careful not to make any noise that could spook the mighty gorillas. A mother and big guard over Levon. The gorilla sniffs the injured child. The animal protects and caresses the child with the tenderness of a concerned parent.
Even the keeper.
The gorilla is extremely territorial and fear that it could try to hurt the child. The hospital. After all these years, Levon.
Yeah, gorillas are nice. Probably a better parent than that kid's parents. Thanks for the donation, Dodo. Oh, hey, Gum Gum.
Face the house. With me up. Yep.
What is happening?
You got it. Yeah, I got you. So we have a search warrant for the house. We've been out here making announcements for a while, dude. Did you not hear us?
No.
Okay.
My boyfriend lives here. I was just chilling at his place.
Okay, 460
getting a second detained. Jake?
Is Jake here right now?
No.
Okay.
The man, who identifies himself as Forrest, explains he's been playing video games while wearing headphones, which is why he didn't hear the announcements. He confirms that Jake and Heston's other roommate are out, leaving the house now empty. During the search, officers find Meta AI glasses likely used to record the pranks, as well as uniforms bearing the logos of multiple businesses, including Chick-fil-A, UPS, Target, Home Depot, and Raising Cane's. Along with these items, police uncover what appears to be Heston's journal, detailing his goals and plans. 2 months before the Chipotle incident, he writes, "I have no other choice but to make this work by any means possible. I will give my family the best life due to my hard work. I cannot afford to miss a single day. This is my year." With Heston facing multiple charges, Dave questioned whether or not there would also be consequences for those who helped him.
All the 20 people that were a part of it, they all need to be charged with trespassing and criminal mischief.
Which is a little bit more difficult because obviously their name.
He would have to identify them.
That's the hard
Good
part.
luck with that.
He probably paid these guys.
Yeah.
And I'm almost positive he can be like, well, I'll just take this and go with it.
I still don't know why all of them look like alpacas.
Their hair, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's the deal with the broccoli hair thing? Like, it's weird.
According to court documents, 24-year-old Heston James Cobb was indicted on 3 counts of felony burglary in the 3rd degree, 3 counts of felony criminal impersonation, 2 counts of criminal trespass in the 2nd degree, and 5 counts of disorderly conduct. He entered a plea of not guilty, and the case is still ongoing. At this time, it is unknown if any of the other participants are being investigated or will face charges. Get the full story without the restrictions, including longer cuts.
Then how can you say they are violent, aggressive beasts, VG?
I don't think I said that exactly. I think it was something more to the effect that I'd be more worried coming across a gorilla than a pit bull. Thanks for the donation, though, Dodo. I can see why you like gorillas. It's not unreasonable. So there's some weird issue with some of these mods installing. So it was in there. Extract here. Replace. Oh. I got Gummy a catnip ball. Oh, what's going on there, Gum Gum? Why isn't this showing up? I have no idea why this isn't showing up. What the fuck? It's just not fucking doing it. I don't even think the new one is showing up.
First off, why is it so easy to rage bait you during your workout streams? Secondly, I already told you that smashing someone on their head is more effective than dropping them.
I look tired and sluggish? How about I drop you on your fucking head? Would I look tired and sluggish then? Fucking retard? Who the fuck are you? Another threat? Let's meet up and fight. Oh, let me guess. I'm gonna have to fly to you, right? Or drive to you because you don't have a fucking car and you can't afford a fucking plane flight? And when I show up there, oh, no one's there! Some fucking 12-year-old wasted my fucking time! Yeah, talk shit, fucking retard. Fucking dumb motherfucker. Bet if I look at your fucking channel, you'll have like fucking Roblox videos or some shit. Oh yeah, it just like nothing. The fuck out of here, faggot. Yeah, I'm sure the guy with an anonymous account doesn't use his real name, has no photos or videos of himself, is gonna fucking show up and fight me on a live. Like, get the fuck out of here. Stop wasting my time. Get the fuck out of here. See you later, dipshit. Oh, crap. I ruined his day. His mom took away his Xbox. What's he gonna do now? Go outside, read a book? That's for real people. Resident Evil 8 sucks. You're just a fucking retard. Anybody who thinks Resident Evil 8 is good is just a fucking retard. It's like saying Taylor Swift is great. Like, it's just fucking trash. Actually, Resident Evil 8 is worse than Taylor Swift. I'm not a minority. Resident Evil 8 sucks. Anybody who isn't an idiot thinks Resident Evil 8 sucks. No, I don't think GTA 5 is the best GTA game because I'm not a fucking retarded 12-year-old. Play your own fucking music.
Shoulders and traps are looking sick.
If you don't like watching my workout streams without any noise, what fucking music do you expect me to play? It's fucking YouTube. Everything's fucking copyrighted. Even when I play non-copyrighted music, I still get a fucking copyright claim. Just play your own stupid fucking music, you fucktard. And then when I do play fucking music, why are you playing this? It sucks.
I just get like in the zone when I'm working out where you know, I'm kind of in an hyped up elevated state where I'm just trying to like get angry for a set, and then like people say stupid shit and then I just like overreact. Thanks for the donation though, Killian Titan. I have no idea why the fuck this isn't showing up. Is like the way you install this completely different or something? Maybe I have to update the thing. Um I have no idea why it's not loading. Maybe it's because it's... Oh, maybe it's because of the way it's... Can I open it in a new tab? Wait, what the fuck? There we go. Okay. That might have been it. No. Why the fuck? I don't know, why the fuck? It's still not working. That's fucking stupid.
Was working when it came to like competing because I was on whatever drugs I was on. I don't know if it was the Deco or the Test or the Tren or the Mastrone or the EQ or the Anavar or the Winstrol or the I don't know which one it was.
There are 3 drugs, in my opinion, that as a man over 40
Leon's sections are obviously better.
years old, you should consider taking. Each has its own major benefits to your health, psychological state, your fitness, muscle growth, and fat loss efforts. But the benefits don't end there. These drugs taken.
It's all about the good stuff, the good news. He's going to give you guys the right information. Guys, come on. I so happen to actually coach men in their 40s. A lot of them. Actually, men from their 20s all the way up to their 70s. So I know this is a topic that I know. This is the stuff that I learned.
I can't even fucking listen to this guy. Oh my god.
On July 20th.
Oh, bro. Everyone's a fucking annoying jackass. Can't even fucking listen to 2 seconds of that.
Hi! Meet Envy, a 12-week-old Maine Coon kitten with a name so fitting it hurts. Because let's be honest, everyone who sees her immediately wishes she was theirs. But too bad, she's mine for today.
Can I see your little nails?
Hello. Oh, you're purring? She's here for her first ever introduction to the world of professional grooming, which is important because one day her majestic fluff will rival that of a small lion, and regular maintenance is a must.
We're bathing her in pure fur because it is very gentle on kittens. Look, good girl.
The bathwater quickly turns from clear to what have you been rolling in, and we both silently agree to pretend we didn't see that. Time to rinse. She makes a few more tactical escape moves, but never lets out a single cry.
Shall we keep you? Cameraman is laughing.
She immediately starts licking herself dry, because clearly my rinse job didn't meet her high standards. I suit her up in the tiniest happy hoodie known to cat kind. She leaps off my lap, climbs onto my shoulder, and wraps herself around me like an extremely judgmental parrot. I use my slicker brush to fluff her up, and she accepts it with mild annoyance. But the moment I go near her rear end with the clippers, full betrayal. She hisses, she squirms. She attempts to flee the scene of the bum shave. To make amends, I offer her some meat gurt, like Go-Gurt, but for carnivores. She looks at it and says no. Honestly, the shade this kitten throws is unmatched. We finish the groom with a little playtime.
Would you save this chicken's life? Or Penguin's 0?
Yeah, chickens eat mice. I'd save the chicken over Penguin 0. Penguin 0 kills way more animals. Thanks for that donation, dude.
Because despite everything, she deserves it, and so do I.
Thank you. Please come again.
That's a nice cat.
1984, Jim Fixx, the man whose best-selling book on running had inspired millions of Americans to get in shape, dropped dead of a massive heart attack during his daily run on a quiet Vermont road. He was 52, he'd quit smoking, he'd lost 60 pounds, and he ran 10 miles a day. It's the kind of story that makes us...
Sleepy, donate $2. Let me see.
Religion is not very different than yours. You guys love Jesus. We love Jesus, peace be upon him. We believe he's the Messiah. You believe he's the Messiah. We believe in God.
No, they don't.
You believe in God. We all believe in the exact same prophets. We believe in the same angels. We believe in the
No, you don't.
same prophecies. We believe in the same stories.
No, you don't.
Your religion, the Christian faith, is 99.9% the same as the Muslim faith.
No, it's not.
Christians, our religion.
Why'd you send me this fucking trash?
All right, so if you're doing preacher curls at an arm angle like this, what you're going to notice is that the bottom position is really, really heavy. The stretch position is really, really heavy. This is because the weight, or whatever you happen to be using, is really far from the elbow in terms of the load and the distance relative to the working joint. And it's also going to be really light at the top. You see there's a very close stacking where the weight or whatever you're holding is close to being on top of your elbow. So this is going to be a really, really good variation.
Hilarious. Great.
all quietly wonder, is it possible to do everything right and still have a heart attack come out of nowhere? And for a long time, the research seemed to say yes. Between 11 and 23% of the most severe heart attacks occur in people with none of the standard documented risk factors. So no high blood pressure, no high cholesterol, no diabetes, and a non-smoker.
Depends on what you define as high cholesterol.
So that number was alarming enough that cardiologists gave it a name called the Smurfless.
Fat doesn't lift the weight. Muscles do. Slow cut is the way. You'd maybe stop fainting doing a rep on OHP. LLLLLLLU. Hurrah. You. Hurrah. 777,777,777.
Well, that's a nice big cuddly bear. Thanks for the donation, dude.
Phenomenon.
Like, there's also ApoA that nobody tests for.
But a major new study of more than 9 million people just dismantled what we thought we knew, and the way that they did it reveals something important about how we've been approaching heart attack risk all along. So first, let's take a look at the scary findings seriously, because it comes from real research published in credible journals, and it's genuinely alarmed the cardiology community. In 2023, researchers pulled data from 15 studies covering more than 1.28 million patients who'd experienced a heart attack, and what they found was that 11.6% of those patients had none of the 4 standard modifiable risk factors. So again, no high blood pressure, no high cholesterol, no diabetes, and they were a non-smoker. In Australia specifically, that number climbed to as high as 23%. And then there's a troubling twist that made all of these findings harder to ignore. The patients who had no documented risk factors didn't do better after their heart attacks. They did worse. So the short-term death rates were higher in these Smurfless patients compared to those who had traditional heart attack risk factors. And the working hypothesis was that these patients were flying under the radar of preventative medicine. They weren't being treated with cholesterol-lowering medications or high blood pressure medications because it appeared that they didn't need them. And so they arrived.
I think he's going to talk about ApoA.
At the hospital in worse shape, and the implication of this was uncomfortable. If up to nearly 1 in 4 of the most severe heart attacks happen in people with no detectable risk factors, maybe our entire preventative care framework was missing something. Maybe heart attacks really could come out of nowhere. It's an idea that Jim Fixx explicitly rejected. He was confident that if a person didn't smoke and exercised enough, heart attacks were essentially ruled out, and sadly, his own story proved that he was wrong. But was Fixx just an unlucky outlier, or was something hiding in plain sight? Recently, a team led by Dr. Hok-Hugh Lee at Yonsei University in Seoul decided to approach the question of these Smurfless heart attacks from the opposite direction. Instead of looking at which risk factors patients had documented by the time that they arrived in the emergency room, they looked backwards. They tracked people through the years of repeated health examinations before any cardiovascular event occurred. And the scale of the study is remarkable. They drew on 2 independent cohorts, so the Korean National Health Insurance Service database, which covers essentially the entire South Korean population, and the multi-ethnic study of atherosclerosis, which is a long-standing American cohort. And together, that's more than 9.3 million people, followed up for more than 13 years in Korea and 19 years in the US. And across those years of follow-up, over 600,000 cardiovascular events, like heart attacks and strokes, occurred. For each person who'd had a cardiovascular event, the researchers went back through all of their available health data. So every recorded blood pressure reading, every cholesterol measurement, every glucose test, every documented smoking history, and they asked, did this person ever have a non-optimal level of any of these 4 risk factors at any point in the years before their event? And here's what they found. More than 99% of people who'd had a first heart attack had at least one non-optimal risk factor beforehand. This was consistent across both countries, consistent in men and women, consistent across age groups from under 60 to over 80. And there wasn't just one risk factor hiding in the background. More than 93% had at least 2. So we've got 2 bodies of research telling us the opposite thing. One says that up to 23% of serious heart attacks happen in people with no risk factors, but the other says that more than 99% had at least 1. So both are published in top journals and both use large data sets. So how could they possibly both be right? Well, here is where the detective work gets really interesting. Because the disagreement between these 2 findings isn't really a scientific contradiction, it's a methodological one. So the 2 sets of studies are answering different questions. The standard Smurfless research, so they asked, did this patient have a clinical diagnosis of a risk factor? That means, were they ever told by a doctor that they had high blood pressure? Was high cholesterol ever written in their chart? Did they have a formal diabetes diagnosis? That all sounds reasonable, but there are 2 massive problems with it. The first is underdiagnosis. So getting a clinical diagnosis requires that you've seen a doctor, that you've been screened, and one of your readings has reached a threshold where you can now be classified with that diagnosis. In the real world, though, that doesn't often happen. So around half of those with high blood pressure, so the single most common modifiable risk factor for cardiovascular disease, they have not been diagnosed. Low diagnosis rates for high cholesterol and diabetes are also well documented. So if your blood pressure has been quietly running at 138 on 88, for instance, but you've never had it flag, you'd showed up in the Smurfless dataset as no hypertension, but you...
Oh, doctors are great at that. They literally do not give a fuck about your blood pressure.
Did have high blood pressure. The second problem relates to the thresholds that the researchers selected to define risk. So cardiovascular risk, it doesn't have an on-off switch. These risk factors operate on continuous, cumulative gradients, meaning that the damage accumulates even at levels that fall below clinical diagnosis thresholds. A blood pressure of 126/82, for instance, is not clinical hypertension by any guideline, but it is elevated above what the American Heart Association considers optimal. It can promote plaque buildup in the arteries, and if you've had it for 15 years, that's 15 years of accumulative vascular damage that wouldn't show up in a Smurf-less study because you were never officially diagnosed. In fact, the thresholds used in the Smurf-less literature, they've often been high by current standards. So this study in the Journal of Cardiology defines hypertension as blood pressure of 140 and above. This is exactly why this new study that we've been looking at used stricter cutoff points derived from the American Heart Association's Life's Essential 8 framework. So these targets are associated with ideal cardiovascular health, not just the thresholds that trigger clinical treatment. So non-optimal blood pressure is defined as a systolic blood pressure, so that's the top number, of above 120. A diastolic blood pressure, so that's the lower number, of above 80. Non-optimal cholesterol is total cholesterol above 200 milligrams per deciliter. Non-optimal fasting glucose is 100 milligrams per deciliter or above, and past or current smoking counted, not just current. So as Dr. Lee put it plainly, he said that when they looked closely, these earlier reports of risk factor-free heart attacks might have actually reflected missed risk factor diagnoses or risk factor levels that were non-optimal in terms of cardiovascular risk, since many of these with risk factors have continuous rather than a yes or no relationship with the risk of developing cardiovascular disease. And when they were asked about these striking results, Dr. Lee pointed to the consistency. So he said, surprisingly, the results were almost identical between the Korean and the US cohorts. That consistency across very different populations and very different.
Why don't you cut? You're at the peak of your bulk, bro. It's enough. You're falling apart, brother. LLLLLLLL.
That's nice. Thanks for the donation.
Health systems makes our findings especially strong. The two literatures, they are not conflicting each other. What they're answering are different questions. Was the patient diagnosed versus did the patient have exposure? Different questions and very different answers, which brings us back to Jim Fixx, because his story turns out to be an almost perfect case study in this methodological gap. So a Smurf-less study conducted at the moment of his death might have coded him as risk-free. He'd quit smoking 17 years earlier, so he was a non-smoker. He wasn't a documented diabetic, and he wasn't formally diagnosed with high blood pressure. It looked like a clean bill of health, at least with 3 out of the 4 standard risk factors. But if we apply the new study's methodology, the picture is completely different. Fixx was smoking 2 packs of cigarettes per day when he took up running at the age of 35, and he weighed 214 pounds, significantly overweight by any standard. His father had died of a heart attack at age 43 after a first heart attack at age 35, a family history of premature cardiovascular disease that should have put him in a high-risk category. Then there was the 4th traditional risk factor. His total cholesterol was above 250 milligrams per deciliter, which is well above the 200 milligram per deciliter non-optimal threshold and elevated even by clinical diagnosis standards. And his autopsy confirmed that all of this might have been predicted. One coronary artery was 95% blocked, a second was 85% blocked, and a third was 70% blocked. And there's one more detail that makes Fixx's story particularly striking. So in December 1983, 7 months before his death, he visited the Cooper Aerobic Center in Dallas. So Dr. Kenneth Cooper, the pioneering exercise physiologist and Fixx's personal friend, urged him to take a cardiovascular stress test, but Fixx refused. Cooper was haunted by this refusal. He told reporters afterwards that he adamantly refused, and that stands out in my mind now. I don't know why he refused. Maybe he had an underlying feeling that he was ill. Friends and family also reported that Fixx was complaining of chest pains during his runs in the months before his deaths, and when physicians looked through his records, these may have been angina episodes. And Fixx's own journal entries, recovered after his death, reveal his denial at work. So that spring, just months before his fatal run, he wrote, "My neurotic blood pressure anxieties, occasioned by feeling intense these past 2 months, are apparently without foundation. Maybe the problem is nothing more than being hypochondria." A cardiologist commenting on this case at the time put it bluntly, the second most common symptom of coronary disease after angina is denial. Fixx had at least 3 silent heart attacks in the weeks before his fatal one, according to his autopsy. Jim Fixx did not lack risk factors. He lacked detected risk factors, and he actively...
All right.
He stopped injecting years before he died. His kidneys failed anyway. That's the systemic breakdown of synthol that nobody else is explaining. I'm a surgeon and I'm gonna connect those dots for you. That's not muscle. What you just looked at is mineral oil and alcohol injected into human arms for 20 years. The man in the image died at 55. His kidneys failed. His lungs filled with fluid. He went into cardiac arrest before they could even start dialysis. And here's the part that should bother you. He had stopped injecting years before. I'm an orthopedic surgeon. I'm going to show you exactly how that's possible and why the fitness world has either been too ignorant or too dishonest to explain it. Orthopedic surgeon here. Subscribe if you're new. Link to my breakdown of PED-related tissue damage is below. Arlindo de Souza was known as Arlindo Anomalia, the anomaly. He was the Brazilian Popeye. His biceps measured 73 centimeters in circumference, 29 inches. He appeared on national television programs. He was, for a period, the most famous body in Brazil. He died on January 13, 2026. He was 55 years old. His nephew told reporters that one kidney failed first, the second went around Christmas. Fluid built up in his lungs. He suffered cardiac arrest before doctors could initiate hemodialysis. Official cause of death, multiple organ failure. What the obituaries don't tell you is the mechanism. How does oil injected into an arm reach a kidney? How does it destroy one, let alone two? How does stopping the injections not stop the progression? Those are surgeon questions. I'm gonna answer them. Here's the structure. I'm gonna walk you up a risk ladder. 4 levels of biological damage from a single synthol injection protocol. Level 1, what synthol actually is and what happens at the injection site in the first hours and days. Level 2, what the body does when it cannot remove the oil and why that response destroys the structural tissue surrounding the muscle. Level 3, how oil migrates out of the local injection site and enters systemic circulation, because it does. And this is the part nobody is talking about. Level 4, how chronic low-level oil emboli load the kidneys, why the kidneys are uniquely vulnerable to filtration of lipid particles, and why this is a slow motion organ failure that accelerates years after you stop injecting. The open loop is this. Arlindo said he stopped. His nephew confirmed it. Doctors confirm the body shows injection damage from years.
How come you're eating 1,600 calories? Shouldn't you eat closer to 3,000 to build more muscle? Because I'm dieting, stupid.
Prior. So how does a man die from the kidneys years after his last injection? Here's the early answer, and this is real, not a tease. Injected oil does not clear. It encapsulates, it persists, and the inflammatory response it generates does not stop when you stop injecting. It continues for years, sometimes permanently. The rest of this video is showing you exactly how that happens, step by step.
Não sei, né? Se o braço estourar, vou no médico, opera e isso é normal, isso pra mim é normal.
Let's start with what synthol actually is, because the name has become genericized. Synthol technically refers to a brand product. What Arlindo was injecting and what most people use is called SEO, Site Enhancement Oil. The composition, roughly 85% medium chain triglyceride oil, the kind used in cooking and IV nutrition formulas, about 7.5% lidocaine, which is local anesthetic, and about 7.5% benzyl alcohol, which acts as a preservative. Arlindo's version was reportedly even more basic, mineral oil and alcohol, mixed at home. No anesthetic, no sterility controls. Mineral oil is denser and less metallizable than MCT oil. That distinction matters enormously, and I'll come back to it.
Claro, então isso aí vai crescer a noite pro dia. Aí, botou na seringa, tirou o ar, botou no braço, aplicou. Ele incha na hora.
When synthol is injected intramuscularly, the goal is to deposit oil between the muscle fibers and the fascia, the connective tissue wrapping around the muscle, to create a visual fullness effect. No strength, no hypertrophy. The muscle fibers themselves don't grow. The space between them expands with deposited oil.
It's all normal muscle, correct?
Yeah.
And this is all product.
Yeah.
Look at that, the whole biceps.
The whole bicep
has product in it.
Is the normal
that you have an inflammatory process in the body. Everything here is product and inflammation.
So the only normal muscle you have in the biceps is this.
Think of it this way. Your immune system is the operating system for your body's tissue integrity. It has protocols for everything: pathogens, foreign particles, damaged cells. But it doesn't have a protocol for a depot of inert oil sitting between your muscle fibers. That's not in the code.
Started my diet off with 1250, but that was too low, so I upped it to 1600.
So the system defaults to the closest available subroutine: foreign body granuloma formation. Basically, the body begins building a fibrous capsule around the oil. This is the same response that happens around a splinter, a breast implant, or a suture left in too long. Macrophages, your frontline immune white blood cells, surround the oil droplets. They can't break down mineral oil. They can't phagocytose.
Your body was perfect before, man. You look good now, but don't take stuff. Just find the strength within, King. You are perfect.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep taking steroids. Thanks for the donation.
Or swallow it effectively. So they signal for fibroblasts, and fibroblasts lay down collagen. Collagen is the structural protein of connective tissue. In the right place, it's what holds you together. Deposited in the wrong place, inside a muscle belly, around oil droplets, it is scar tissue. And scar tissue does not function like muscle. It doesn't contract, it doesn't relax, it is inert, stiff, a fibrous mass. So within days to weeks of the first injection, the tissue at the site begins to change. Not cosmetically, architecturally. Quick question for the comments. I want to hear this one specifically. Keep watching. Let's talk about fascia, because this is the structure that takes the most damage from synthol use. And it's the one most people have never heard of.
It's the extracellular matrix. It's outside the cells. Without fascia, your body is, your muscles are chopped meat. Without fascia, your muscles are pulled pork.
Fascia is the connective tissue sheath that wraps every muscle in your body. It contains the muscle, guides its contraction mechanics, allows it to glide against adjacent structures, and connects it to the tendon. Fascial integrity is non-negotiable for normal muscle function.
So now, Cody, go ahead and try to lift both arms up for me. And we're gonna just, woo, good. Okay, so can you see that his range of motion is restricted right now? Really try to lift them up higher, Cody. Okay?
When repeated oil injections are made into the same intramuscular region, as Arlindo did for 2 decades, building to 73 centimeter arms, the fibrous capsule formation process doesn't stay localized. It spreads. The collagen deposition triggers more collagen deposition. The fascia begins to thicken, lose elasticity, and in severe cases, calcify.
Oh, no, 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 no.
I want to be precise about what calcify means here. In the worst case of chronic foreign body granuloma formation, the fibrous capsule undergoes dystrophic calcification. Calcium deposits form within the scar tissue in places it would normally not do this. The arm internally can become partially mineralized. Not muscle, not bone, a calcified matrix of oil, macrophage debris, and dense collagen. Surgeons describe opening the arm and finding compartmentalized oil pockets surrounded by thick gray-white fibrous tissue. The muscle fibers, where they can still be identified, are atrophied, compressed, non-functional. Back to the software metaphor. The body built a firewall around the oil. That firewall, the fibrous capsule, is doing its job, but it's built inside the muscle. And as it grows, it compresses and replaces functional tissue. The security patch is destroying the program it was meant to protect. What does this look like functionally? In Arlindo's case, despite arms that appeared to be 73 centimeters of bicep, the underlying muscle was almost certainly severely atrophied beneath the oil and scar matrix. The arms looked enormous. They could not generate the force of a normally developed bicep, a third their visual size. But local tissue destruction is risk level 2. It's serious, it's permanent, it's not what killed him. What killed him starts at level 3, and this is where it gets genuinely surprising, because the oil does not stay where you put it. Here's the part that flips the whole story about synthol being a local risk. The fitness community treats synthol as a site-specific problem. You inject here, the damage is here. Dude. Cosmetic complications, maybe an abscess, maybe surgical debridement, contained. That framing is medically illiterate. Injected oil does not respect anatomical boundaries, and I'll show you exactly why shortly. We've covered what synthol is and what it does to the immediate injection site and fascia. That's the part the fitness press occasionally acknowledges. What they never tell you is what happens to the oil that doesn't stay put. And believe me, it doesn't stay put. In the next 5 minutes, I'm going to show you the exact migration pathway that lets injected oil reach systemic circulation, and the specific failure mode in the kidney's filtration architecture that makes lipid or fat embolism uniquely lethal for users like Arlindo. This is the mechanism that the Italian language channel covered briefly that no English language surgeon has broken down. Until now. That's the mechanism. Let me walk you through it. Oil injected intramuscularly does not simply sit in a depot and wait. Pressure, muscle contraction, and the body's lymphatic drainage system all act on it over time. Here's the pathway. The lymphatic system is your body's secondary circulatory system. It collects interstitial fluid, waste products, and particles from the tissues and returns them to venous circulation via the thoracic duct. It is not selective. If a particle is small enough to enter a lymphatic capillary, it enters the system. Oil droplets, especially after years of injection and the partial emulsification that happens as the body repeatedly attacks the deposit, can shed microdroplets small enough to enter lymphatic vessels. These microdroplets travel through the lymph system, enter venous circulation at the subclavian vein, pass through the right heart, and reach the pulmonary circulation. In the lungs, lipid emboli can lodge in pulmonary capillaries. This is documented. Pulmonary lipid embolism from intramuscular oil injection is in the medical literature. It presents as pulmonary inflammatory response, shortness of breath, reduced oxygenation, and in severe cases, respiratory failure. Arlindo's lungs were reportedly full of fluid at the time of his death. I cannot confirm lipid embolism without an autopsy report. What I can tell you is that pulmonary lipid embolism is a known and documented complication of intramuscular oil injection. But the pulmonary pathway is not the renal pathway. The kidneys are downstream. After the pulmonary circulation, blood returns to the left heart, enters systemic arterial circulation, and then reaches the kidneys, which receive approximately 20 to 25% of cardiac output with every heartbeat. The kidneys are, by design, the most aggressive filtration system in the body. In 90 seconds, I'm going to show you the specific structure in the kidney that lipid particles destroy, and why destroying it is irreversible. But first, the filtration damage mechanism here directly parallels what I've covered in the chronic PED use and renal stress video. Same principle of cumulative glomerular load, different delivery vehicle. Link is in the description. The functional unit of kidney filtration is the nephron. Each kidney contains approximately 1 million nephrons. Each nephron includes a glomerulus, a microscopic tuft of capillaries where blood is filtered under pressure. Lipid microdroplets entering renal circulation can lodge in the glomerular capillaries. The response? Local inflammation, macrophage infiltration, and over time, glomerulosclerosis, scarring of the filtration unit. A scarred glomerulus doesn't filter, and nephrons do not regenerate. You lose nephrons over a lifetime normally. Aging, hypertension, diabetes all contribute. The reserve capacity of healthy kidneys is substantial, but accelerated nephron loss from chronic lipid embolism does not announce itself with symptoms until a large percentage of function is gone. This is the insidious nature of the mechanism. It is clinically silent for years.
We're too late.
Arlindo stopped injecting. The new injection stopped. The oil already in his tissue did not stop. The oil already in his lymphatic and vascular system did not stop. The inflammatory load on his kidneys did not stop. This is how Arlindo de Souza died. Not the headline, the mechanism. Chronic glomerular damage from years of lipid embolism reduces functional kidney mass. The kidneys compensate. The remaining nephrons upregulate their filtration rate. The body retains fluid, blood pressure rises. This is called compensated renal failure. You can be at 40 or 50% kidney function and not know it. At some point, from an acute stressor, from a final decompensation, from a threshold being crossed, the compensation fails. The first kidney enters acute on chronic failure. It stops filtering effectively. Creatinine, urea, potassium, metabolic waste products begin accumulating in the blood. The second kidney, already damaged, is now carrying full bilateral load. Arlindo's nephew told reporters that one kidney failed first. The second followed around Christmas. That is the classic bilateral sequential failure pattern of end-stage renal disease. When both kidneys fail, fluid accumulates. It has nowhere to go. It backs up into the interstitial space, the tissues. It backs up into the lungs, pulmonary edema. The alveolar sacs fill with fluid. Oxygenation drops. The work of breathing increases dramatically. The heart, under the combined stress of fluid overload, metabolic acidosis from retained waste products, and electrolyte imbalance, particularly hyperkalemia, or elevated potassium from failed renal clearance, becomes electrically unstable.
And since potassium is the king of action and contraction in your muscles, well then too much potassium, everything in the body is going to be really tight and contracted.
Hyperkalemia is one of the most acutely dangerous complications of renal failure. Elevated serum potassium disrupts cardiac electrical conduction. It can cause ventricular fibrillation, the chaotic, non-pumping electrical storm in the heart, with essentially no warning. Arlindo went into cardiac arrest before doctors could initiate hemodialysis. This is the sequence: bilateral renal failure, fluid and toxin accumulation, pulmonary edema, hyperkalemia, fatal arrhythmia. Hemodialysis, if initiated in time, can remove excess potassium, pull the fluid, and temporarily restore metabolic hemostasis. It is not a cure for end-stage renal disease. It is a mechanical replacement for failed kidneys. Arlindo didn't make it to the machine. Here's the honest answer to that question from a medical standpoint. The damage likely became irreversible at the point of sustained glomerular scarring, which was probably occurring throughout the active injection years and continued after. The stopping point was years too late to save the kidneys. It may have slowed the progression, it didn't reverse it though. The mineral oil that Arlindo used, as opposed to MCT oil, is particularly problematic because mineral oil is a petroleum derivative. It is essentially non-metallizable by human tissue. MCT oil can be partially broken down via lipase enzymes. Mineral oil cannot. It persists longer. The inflammatory stimulus persists longer. 20 years of mineral oil injection. The depot was enormous. The residual load after stopping was still enormous. There's a whole separate video in the surgical intervention side of this. What actually happens when surgeons try to remove synthol tissue, what the OR looks like, and whether debridement can meaningfully reduce systemic load. That's a video we need to make. If you want it, tell me in the comments. Let me give you the framework for understanding this case and every synthol.
There's a lot of people who've used synthol who had kidney failure. I know Nasser El Sambadi. He used a lot of synthol. He ended up having kidney failure. I know Rich Piana. He had damaged kidneys too. He died from like a drug overdose or something, but they found kidney damage on him. No, I don't have Twitch. I fucking hate Twitch. Oh, I just realized. Why is it weird like that? I don't understand. Might have to just reinstall the mod loader or something. Oh well. Yeah, shit. Okay, that's weird. Okay, I got advanced tuning now.
Welcome.
Oh. Some of these mods are installing automatically. They're not showing up in the thing. That's fucking weird. Why the fuck? That's super weird. Huh. Very strange. Shit, I don't have any healing items.
Welcome.
So you know, I've killed every planet you have.
I don't know how the hell you're supposed to...
Stubborn meat, aren't you?
No, this is Galgun. Playing Galgun.
This must be it.
Sherry, I found some kind of massive facility.
What do you think it is?
I'm seeing supplies with the logos of the usual suspects.
Whatever it is, clearly wasn't meant to be found.
Yeah. You're telling me.
Oh. Oh, fuck.
The fuck?
Welcome.
It's got me thinking.
Welcome.
I think I'll get rid of the alligator snapper.
Where is that? Okay. I'm getting the feeling I'm not wanted around here.
Fuck, ah. Are they all dead? Yeah, like some of the gray sections are cool, but the game would have been better overall if it was all Leon. I think that's what they're gonna do for RE10. It's gonna be Chris and Leon. Okay, I think they spawn in. Do that thing there. Fuck. Why doesn't it let you switch shoulders? Fuck. Oh my god.
Here at ARC, your movements will be constantly monitored. Do not use the designated vehicle without authorization. The recording and transmitting of information is strictly prohibited.
Not necessary. I'll neutralize the target myself. Leon Kennedy. We finally meet. I didn't realize I had such a big fan. How about an autograph?
I heard you were a smartass. Not bad for someone at death's door.
Don't worry about me. How sweet.
Yeah. Fuck, what the fuck? Didn't do the thing.
I didn't realize I had such a big fan. How about an autograph?
I heard you were a smartass. Not bad for someone at death's door.
Worried about me. How sweet.
Ugh. Fuck.
Sneaky bastard. Didn't realize I had such a big fan. How about an autograph?
I heard you were a smartass.
Fuck, yeah.
Not bad for someone at death's door.
Worried about me. How sweet.
Oh my god.
Didn't realize I had such a big fan. How about an autograph?
I heard you were a smartass. Not bad for someone at death's door.
Worried about me.
Am I like...
Target neutralized. Mission accomplished.
Dude, the pairing thing is like, it just seems so inconsistent.
I had such a big fan. How about an autograph?
I heard you were so fast. Not bad for someone at death's door.
Don't worry about me. How sweet.
What the fuck?
Target neutralized. Mission accomplished.
I didn't realize I had such a big fan. How about an autograph?
I heard you were a smartass. Not bad for someone at death's door.
Don't worry about me.
Oh my god. Why in the fuck?
Sneaky bastard.
Yeah. Oh my fucking god.
I didn't realize I had such a big fan. An autograph.
I heard you were a smartass. Not bad for someone at death's door.
Don't worry about me. How sweet. Not good.
Yeah, sure.
You don't want hands here,
Sure, yeah, uh-huh.
I didn't realize I had such a big fan. How about an autograph?
I heard you were a smartass. Not bad for someone at death's door.
Don't worry about me. How sweet.
And then it just doesn't fucking
Target neutralized. Mission accomplished.
Oh my god. Fucking stupid.
Synthol case.
I've gotten a few calls about that rental program, and they're typically from sort of a version of a mom and pop operator. So that they built an 8-unit thing, or they built a 12-unit thing, or whatever, 20-unit thing. So not a massive tower. They weren't tied into a REIT or a pension fund or anything like that. And they're calling me and they're saying, hey, I got a problem. Like, CMHC wants another $480,000 and it's finished now. It's finished now. And they say, well, we've recalculated and you got to pay me all this money.
Yep.
And I don't have that money. So what am I going to do? Jesus.
Ron, you are hitting on something. I was banging the drum on this, a year ago. And it was our friend Dan Foch that put me onto it originally. And he mentioned it, and I don't think he realized how big of an issue this was going to be.
Yeah.
And him and I kind of, just kind of tossed it back and forth and came to the conclusion that, this is going to be a problem. So just to tee it up for the listeners and viewers, if we look at what's happening in the condo market right now, you've got a scenario where people entered pre-construction contracts kind of 21, 22, when prices were at peak.
Oh, vastly inflated.
Inflated relative to resale prices. Now that they're completing, they're realizing that value is not there. And they're facing what is effectively a capital call. The lenders are saying, if we're going to close this, you need to come up with a much bigger down payment. Or maybe in some cases they get this bullshit blanket appraisal.
Oh, you need the magic blanket appraisal.
Right.
Yeah.
But the point being, if you can't get a fairy blanket, or these fairy tale blanket appraisal, you're stuck with a capital call where you got to come up with money.
Yep.
And I said at the time, this CMHC program has a mechanism embedded into it that looks similar to that, in that there's this rental achievement holdback. And the idea there is CMHC will say, okay, if you want your takeout financing, you need to prove your pro forma. So you assume that rents were going to be $2,000 a unit. You assume you're going to get this level of occupancy within X amount of time. Show us. And what we're finding is, in some cases, because the rental market's deteriorated, they can't prove the pro forma. And so CMHC is basically saying, we're going to hold back.
Iran's 14-point peace proposal entails. President Donald Trump's response.
They want to make a deal. They're decimated.
And what may be the response from the U.S. to its latest peace proposal, calling to end the war within 30 days. While referring to, quote, very positive discussions, U.S. President Donald Trump has also cast doubt on the prospect of a diplomatic breakthrough, claiming Tehran's 14-point plan would not be, quote, acceptable. Iran's new proposal calls for Washington to withdraw U.S. forces stationed near Iran's borders, to end its naval blockade of the regime's ports, and for all fighting, including Israel's offensive in Lebanon, to end. And despite a fragile 3-week ceasefire still holding, the fear of further escalation remains a real possibility after a cargo ship navigating near the Strait of Hormuz was attacked. And late today, President Trump said the U.S. will start guiding stranded ships out of the strait. Candace Cole has our top story tonight.
U.S. President Donald Trump is looking over a new 14-point proposal submitted by Iran that calls for an end to the war within 30 days, according to Iranian state media.
They want to make a deal. They're decimated.
In their new proposal, Iran wants the U.S. to withdraw its forces and a guarantee against future military action, an end to the fighting in Lebanon, lifting of sanctions, and an end to the U.S. blockade of Iranian ports.
It's a very friendly blockade. Nobody's even challenging it. Nobody at all is challenging it.
However, Trump has already signaled he likely won't agree to the new terms, posting on social media he can't imagine that it would be acceptable and that they haven't paid a big enough price for what they've done to humanity. But experts say the real holdup is Trump's desire to prove he can broker a better nuclear deal than the 2015 joint plan brokered by former President Barack Obama.
Ultimately, Trump's goal is he will need to get an agreement that is better than the JCPOA
that Obama negotiated and from which he withdrew in 2018. And until that happens, Trump's going to continue to put the thumbscrews on the regime in Tehran.
But as the stalemate between Washington and Tehran continues, the price of goods like fertilizer and food continue to rise, along with gas prices.
What's really needed is for flow to resume through the Strait of Hormuz. You can't take 20% of the energy out of the system. The key thing is to restore that flow. It allows markets to begin to rebuild these inventories. It allows us to get products to where they're needed and to alleviate some of the pressure.
Iran is now reviewing the United States' response to their proposal, according to an Iranian spokesperson. Candace Cole, Global News, Washington.
Israel's barrage in southern Lebanon is showing no signs of letting up. Israel's defense minister now says the military campaign and ground offensive against Iranian-backed militant group Hezbollah has been modeled on tactics used in Gaza, where entire neighborhoods were reduced to rubble. The war reignited in early March after Hezbollah attacked Israel in solidarity with Iran. According to Lebanon's health ministry, since that time, Israeli strikes have killed more than 2,600 people. Prime Minister Mark Carney is in Armenia's capital today as the first non-European leader to attend the European Political Community Summit.
For Canada, and it's an honor for Canada to be invited.
Today, Carney met with the prime ministers of Poland and Armenia, among others. He also spoke with the president of the European...
I fucking hate how Canada is cozying up to Europe. I think Carney's housing minister actually said Canada's behind Europe with online censorship. So they want to push the same sort of online censorship laws that Europe is pushing. Like, it's like, why the fuck did people vote for this jackass? Like, it's just insane. And he has this sovereign wealth fund. All it is just government corruption where they're going to make sure certain corporations that are buddies with them will get these big grants and they'll just waste money. Like, it's just fucking retarded.
European Union's Parliament, who invited Carney to address the Assembly in the future. The trip is Carney's latest diplomatic effort to build new international trade and security ties, as Canada's alliance with the U.S. is ruptured under President Trump. It also comes on the heels of Trump announcing he'll be pulling thousands of American troops out of Germany and threatened to do the same to NATO allies Spain and Italy. The priorities for leaders gathering at this summit in Armenia is the war in Ukraine. Prime Minister Mark Carney is expected to meet one-on-one.
Well, yeah, it's the boomers that voted for the liberals, and it's because they know they're going to drive up housing prices. They love that shit. Dude. All we have to do is wait for the boomers to die off, and/or just wait for the liberals to completely destroy the country beyond repair. At least then, we'll be able to own guns again, and then we'll be able to defend ourselves from all the fucking gang members and home invaders that are trying to break into our houses and steal our fucking cars. But yeah, like, small consolation there once they just completely destroy the fucking country.
Yeah. The most important question, arm wrestling. Yeah. Is it strength, or is it technique, or is it both? Because, watch, we got 75.
Oh yeah. I won't even be able to throw that.
No? It's just a slight warm-up for me.
Yeah, I can't even lift it.
Dude, he is so fucking strong. That is crazy.
Do it, but I have no chance against you.
Right, because the bicep, you have to be able to access your bicep through your hand. Yeah. Right? Mm-hmm. So I don't even really focus on my bicep too much. I focus on this and this.
Yeah, I get it.
But it's really specialized and it's all mangled and like it's been torn. See the tear?
Show us the pronator.
Oh, there. Yeah. The right is good. The left pops really good too. You know.
I don't know if you can see my pronators. Yeah. You can kind of see him. Dude, he is insanely strong, Alexander. Holy shit. 75, and it's like just light, nothing warm-up.
Professor Grubel, your 5 minutes starts now.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I traveled around the country for 2 years with the Finance Committee, so I'm very familiar with the atmosphere. Most fundamentally, I welcome public hearings as we are having now on designs of our immigration policy. I hope it will give the deserved publicity and discussion in Parliament that has been needed. On a personal note, despite my numerous academic publications in the field of immigration economics, I was never asked to participate in the discussions around the setting of official immigration targets and selection criteria.
Pretty sure my mom voted Conservative.
As a member of Parliament from 93 to 97, was I ever asked to vote on these issues. Only once did the minister tell me privately to keep up my research and publications and hold his feet to the fire. I believe that in greatest need of change are policies determining the number and selection criteria of temporary residents who are admitted to work or study in Canada. Foreigners who fill seasonal or temporary labor shortages in the economy should be admitted in numbers at frequent, regular intervals and set by a parliamentary committee. There should be no foreign students attending elementary and secondary schools. They do not benefit Canada and burden our schools' resources. Foreign students should be admitted to attend Canadian colleges, universities, and graduate schools. They bring valuable benefits to the institutions and economy, especially to the...
Yeah, it's great that Trump was a fucking reason the Conservatives... It doesn't even make sense. Like, there's this, like, weird fucking propaganda push calling the Conservatives Maple MAGA. It's like, in what fucking way do they represent the fucking MAGA movement? Like, that was just retarded.
Extent that they pay tuition. Foreign students who have completed degrees in these institutions should no longer be preferred candidates for permanent resident status. The government should adopt policy to ensure that temporary workers and students leave Canada after their visas have expired. Now, on a separate issue, parents and grandparents should be granted only super visas, as they had been practiced before the changes initiated by the government in 2016. It makes eminent sense.
Yeah, Trudeau.
If a foreigner does not want to come without his parents, he just should not come. The system dealing with asylum seekers needs to be reformed, possibly fundamentally, much as it is in other Western democracies. Such reforms may include the development of ways in which the backlog of applications for refugees status is...
Dude, it's outrageous. There are people claiming refugee status from, like, armpits of the fucking world. Like fucking Liberia and shit. And then they come here. They have absolutely no education. Like, they haven't even passed the equivalent of elementary school, let alone high school. So they have no ability to, like, fucking work even a normal fucking job because they're retarded and they have no education. They're never going into, like, any skilled trades. They're never, getting their high school diploma here, or going to fucking college. So, like, best case scenario, they might be able to be a cashier at, like, a gas station or something. Best case scenario. And these people don't even work for years. And the government just gives them money. They get these, and they pay for their rent too. They get free housing. they get free food, and they get like a monthly allowance as well to spend on whatever the fuck they want. And they just do fucking nothing. And this is what we're paying fucking taxes for.
Is reduced. I'm fully aware that this is one of the most difficult problems our foreign policy faces. And there are no easy solutions. There are trade-offs that involve fundamental human values, the suffering of immigrants, but also the suffering of Canadians who find their housing, their access to medical
1 minute
care.
left, Professor Grubel.
Pardon me?
1 minute left.
Fine. Thank you, madam. I'm done.
Thank you, Professor. You are. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay.
Mr. Menegakis, over to you.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you to all of our witnesses for appearing before us today. I'd like to start my questions with you, Professor Grubel. Do you believe that the Liberal government considered the impact on things like healthcare, housing, and jobs prior to letting in the large number of immigrants that they have allowed in over the past decade?
I wouldn't know, but it turns out whatever they did, it was very bad for Canada.
Would you agree that when there are diseconomies of scale when letting in so many people at once, and the costs may actually be higher than if immigration was done in a slower, more sustainable manner?
Exactly. I mean, it turns not into positive, it turns for the country as a whole as a negative. I have great sympathy for gentlemen like we heard from the island that there is a labor shortage, but if we bring in
the labor shortage thing is a complete joke. There isn't a labor shortage. One, the people they're bringing in, they're not even skilled trades workers. They're just people, and again, a lot of these people just suck off the fucking welfare state, so they don't work, they just collect welfare and benefits. Two, a lot of the people, they're not even skilled trades workers or anything. It was hilarious. There was a big news story recently where there was a doctor from Europe who wanted to immigrate to Canada just because he liked Canada. The guy was working as a doctor here, I think for at least 5 years, while he was applying for his permanent residence and citizenship. They declined his permanent residence and eventual citizenship. They told him, go back to your own country. This is a fucking doctor, a medical doctor, and in a country that has a doctor shortage. Why the fuck would they decline a white European fucking doctor who's been working here for at least 5 years, trying to get his citizenship, when there's a doctor shortage, but they'll let in random ass fucking people just claiming refugee status who don't work and just collect welfare? So none of this immigration bullshit is about labor shortages. I think it's probably a two-pronged thing. One, it's just ideological. The Liberal government is just overrun by fucking communists, and they just want to destroy the country, and they're useful idiots, and they just believe in this like white guilt feminist bullshit, where it's like, oh, we need to help the people of the world. Let's bring in all the immigrants, cultural enrichment, that sort of shit. And I think another part of it is just corruption. So Canada has been completely and utterly economically unproductive. Basically, what has happened over several decades is, and it's mostly due to the Liberals, we haven't had that much conservative leadership. What ends up happening is the Liberal Party is extremely close with a lot of corporations, and they're complete whores. So as long as you give them money and there's benefit for them, they'll just do whatever. So you have like telecommunications providers. That's probably the best example. Bell and Rogers are really the only two fucking providers in the entire fucking country. What the liberal governments have done over decades is they've created policies that make it impossible to compete with these bigger corporations. So you have very, very little economic diversity and very little actual market competition. So you generally see only like one or two corporations basically existing, like occupying any particular space. So with internet service providers, like again, it's just Bell and Rogers. And what that's created is higher fucking prices. Again, Canada pays some of the highest telecommunication prices compared to the rest of the world. If you look at like 100 gigabyte, cell phone service in Canada, it's like 4 times the cost of most of Europe. So they've just basically been enriching corporations, making sure that there's essentially effective monopolies on all these spaces. And because of the lack of market competition, there ends up being very little actual economic development. There's no competition. None of these companies have to become more efficient, make more revenue, build more services, get bigger. So there's a stagnant economic development because there's no market competition. And what they've done in compensation for that is basically push everything towards housing markets to grow GDP. So that's why housing prices have fucking skyrocketed, rent prices have fucking skyrocketed, and I think that's one of the big motivators for this retarded immigration policies. They know if they bring in a fuck ton of immigrants, it'll only drive up housing and renting costs. So then when, you look at these spreadsheets, oh, we have positive GDP numbers. We have fucking 1.1% growth year over year, which is fucking pathetic. But it's not real GDP. All it is just speculation, basically, and artificially inflated prices in the housing market because there's too many people and too little houses and rental units. So, like, the Liberal government is just completely destroying fucking Canada, and it's deliberate, and it has to do with ideological commie bullshit and just corporate corruption.
Too much of anything, suddenly you will have adjustment problems. And it was more than adjustment problems. It was killing our economy.
Well, that you make a very valid point there, sir. Do you think it has an impact on the ability of newcomers that are coming to Canada to be able to have successful outcomes when there's so many of them coming? And
oh yeah, liberals have absolutely no values. Again, that's why, and yeah, Muslims love them because they'll allow in mass immigration. They'll accept money from whoever. They'll bend to the knee from whoever, as long as they, get voted in.
Of course, it creates a problem.
And that's another reason why this mass immigration is such a huge issue. And it's like because of the Liberal Party. They have no values. So all they fucking care about is getting votes. They will do fucking anything. So if you bring in a huge amount of fucking immigrants from shithole fucking countries that have just terrible fucking values that are completely antithetical to, Western civilization, the liberals will just bend to the knee to them. That's what happened in the UK. You have Keir Starmer literally saying, we're not going to ban incest because it's offensive to Muslims and I want to get voted in next election. They'll allow for Sharia courts with civil cases, again, because they know if they push back against any of that, oh, well, the Muslims won't vote for me. They have like this retarded fucking stance on, Palestine and Israel, Gaza and shit. Because again, they know if they speak out in support of Israel and against Iran, the whole Muslim community is going to get fucking pissed off and they won't vote for them. So like it ends up becoming that much more of a fucking problem with these liberals that have absolutely no fucking values, because now you have this massive fucking voting bloc that they're just going to appeal to that are like fucking assholes.
With finding jobs and finding a residence to live and getting health care and so forth. Do you think it's an environment that is conducive for them to be able to succeed in Canada as newcomers to our country?
Well, I'm not in contact with immigrants, but I read a lot about what is going on in the economy, and I hear that the recent immigrants are a strong lobby for reducing the rate of immigrants.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's actually a hilarious thing. A lot of the Indians want to reduce Indian immigration because they don't want Indians around, because they left India to get away from Indians.
They are the ones at the front who feel this problem, as well as our own.
Well, and again, like, they don't have this white guilt sensibility about it either. So when housing prices and rent prices increase, and they know it's because there's too many fucking immigrants getting let in, they're gonna fucking say, can you stop with the immigrants already? Like, I got in, but could you not let anyone else in?
Skilled young people whose jobs are being taken.
Do you think that the government should be in the business of providing accommodations, housing for example, asylum seekers and refugees and newcomers coming?
Nope.
Should the government?
Well, my commentary on this controversy that we're continuing here and was.
Dude, they get benefits for years. There are people who've claimed refugee status and still haven't gotten a job after years.
Going on before with the asylum seekers is that the more benefits we offer, the more we will have asylum seekers.
Yeah, and they're not real asylum seekers. They're just full of shit.
Who may or may not have legitimate claims, but are getting benefits from doing so.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, thank you for that.
A famous economist, Milton Friedman, colleague of mine when I was teaching in Chicago, said it is incompatible to have the welfare state and free immigration. And we, in the last 10 years, have been moving more and more towards free immigration.
It's the communist liberals. They're like the liberals, like I like people just do not acknowledge this. They are infested with communist ideology.
And that prediction that it is impossible, we're paying for.
Along those lines, sir, I don't know if you have heard, but the government ran into quite a bit of controversy because they were booking hotels and putting people in hotels across the country, just housing them there at exorbitant costs. Now, to get away from that controversy, they created a new program, and recently we found out they gave the city of Ottawa $40 million to outright purchase a hotel so they can house these people. So they're not renting anymore. They house them now in a hotel that is owned by the city of Ottawa to house these people.
It's just fucking insane. And by the way, unsurprisingly, crime rates have skyrocketed in Ottawa. I was talking to some people, like every time I go out to Ottawa, I end up like talking to some people. There was some old woman I was talking to who said she had to fucking like move away from the downtown area because there's so many like fucking criminals and crack addicts and just like weird ass fucking migrants. And it just got insane. Like people were getting home invaded all the time. She was getting harassed everywhere. She had to move out of downtown. There's actually a lady who lives in my town down the street. I always see her walking her dog. And she told me she actually moved out of Ottawa for that reason too. She said it's gotten just so fucked. But yep. I like, again, it just, what do we get? Like, what do you get from voting liberals? You get more fucking broken poor. You have to pay more fucking taxes. You get more fucking crime. If you ever defend yourself against these criminals, they'll just lock you in fucking prison for no fucking reason. Like, you have mass immigration, like housing prices go up, well, which I guess if you're a boomer and you already bought a home in the fucking 1960s for $78, that's a good thing. But rent prices have fucking increased like crazy. And on top of that, they're taking away all of your fundamental human rights. They're trying to take away free speech. They're trying to promote internet censorship. They're getting rid of your firearms rights. Like, what do you get voting liberal? Like, I can't. Just everyone's a fucking retard.
Yesterday, for example, I read an article of another $27.35 million that was given to Pickering, the town of Pickering here in Ontario, to do the same thing, to purchase a hotel there. So $40 million to Ottawa, $27.35 million to Pickering. That's only two locations that we know of where they've done that so far that we know of. They've been very reluctant to provide, to be transparent and give us a list of how many municipalities they've given money to. What do you have to say about that, sir?
You have 1 minute left.
Well, most generally, I think it will all be said in the book that I'm writing. I cry for you, Canada. I came in 1972 having a professorship with a tenure in the United States because I love Canada and I love Vancouver. I'm now almost...
Oh, dude, don't get me started with Vancouver. Vancouver is the worst fucking province for liberal communist brain rot. Like, I'll show you what liberalism does. Yeah, there's Vancouver. This is the liberal fucking dream. Don't lock up criminals, let in a ton of immigrants who don't fucking work. They literally give these people free drugs, by the way. I'm not even fucking kidding. Like, look it up. I'm not even kidding. They give these people free drugs, and the reasoning is, oh, well, it's safer because it won't be, like, spiked with fentanyl or something. And they won't lock them up. A lot of these people, like, obviously to, like, keep their drug habits going, they all commit petty crimes to get money. They will not fucking arrest these people, won't keep them in fucking jail. They just let them right back out on the fucking street. So that's fucking Vancouver for you. There's a lot of cities in Canada that are becoming like that. Like, Guelph was actually becoming like that. When I moved out. Ottawa is becoming like that. That's what the liberals do.
Sorry for this country. I'm glad I'm 92.
Yeah, I'll close by saying this. Thank you for appearing before us today. I hope that when I'm 92 years old, somebody will ask me to come and present here, if I'm fortunate enough to get there. And thank you for your service to Canada as a member of Parliament. Appreciate your presence here today.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Professor Grubel, and thank you, Mr. Menegakis. Next.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Professor Grubel, when I was looking at your body of work, your impressive body of work over the years, it wasn't until later, after I'd read some of what you've been doing, that you were a member of Parliament. So that was a bit of a surprise to me, but I'm happy to engage with you today. In your policy history, you have tended to focus on fiscal responsibility, labor market competition, infrastructure constraints, and selective economically driven immigration.
Yeah, liberals don't want any of that. They do not want market competition. They want to create monopolies so that the big corporations can give them kickbacks and help with their political campaigns and shit. And it works a lot the same way in the UK. There's actually a lot of similarities between the Canadian government and the UK government. A lot of these people are millionaires or mega millionaires. They either have a stake or own some of these businesses that they give benefits to, or they have friends that that are in these businesses that they basically give kickbacks and essentially allow to run monopolies. So They don't want market diversity. They want monopolies. They don't want market competition. They don't want labor competition. Again, like they deny fucking European doctors from immigrating here during a doctor shortage, but they'll let in people who aren't real refugees to come in who have no education, can't read or write, and just give them free money for fucking years. Like it's insane.
I'm from the Niagara region in Ontario, and we see firsthand how the pressures that you have written about, from housing shortages, strained infrastructure, and employment balancing labor needs with stagnant wages in key sectors. That lived reality raises a couple of fundamental questions, but I wonder if you could walk the committee through.
Yeah, Mamdani's rent control. It's already drove up rent prices. And what's going to happen if he actually imposes rent control, there's just going to be a bunch of landowners that go completely bankrupt. So he's basically just going to bankrupt the city. And again, it's just going to end up raising housing costs even more at the end of the day. Mamdani is just such a fucking retard. But yeah, like, everyone warned them, what would happen, and they're getting exactly what they fucking voted for.
Through your framework for assessing what you refer to as net fiscal impact of immigration, and what variables matter most, and how should policymakers interpret those results?
Well,
in Vancouver, they shut down Riverview Mental Hospital and released hundreds of criminally insane people with no help. Yeah, that makes sense.
The book you're referring to was published by the Fraser Institute, somewhat reluctantly. A co-author, an American who lived a long time in Ottawa. It started off, and we got our attention was drawn to the following fact, that when immigrants enter Canada, Statistics Canada finds out that they have income that is below Canadian workers of the same age and education.
Yep.
And this low income persists for the next 20 years, and it never goes completely away. I don't know whether it's discrimination, whatever it is, that's a fact. And it was getting, when we were writing our book, worse every 5 years. Statistics Canada showed that it's gotten worse.
Yeah, these people are completely unproductive. You just have more unproductive labor.
At the same time, as they settle in Canada, they're entitled to all the government benefits.
Yeah, so they either pay less taxes or no taxes, often the case. They never make any fucking money, so they don't contribute, and then they just leech off the fucking system.
That we offer. And as a result of this, we have progressive income taxation, so that these immigrants with the low incomes are getting all the benefits which are not tied to income, while the taxes they pay are considerably lower because their incomes are lower. And we calculated that this was in the 80s, several $1 billion worth of costs that immigrants impose on the rest of Canada that is never mentioned. And even then it was disregarded.
It's racist. Yeah, it's fucking insane.
Being hated for pointing out these kinds of things. People go, oh, this is wrong, this is wrong. The numbers are there. Nobody refuted them. But of course, the public media didn't like the idea because the mood in Canada at the time was still, immigrants cannot do any wrong. We need more and more and more. The question is, do we all want to subsidize the small businessmen in the world? That's an issue that we ought to discuss. At the time that I was active in writing.
And all they'll tell you is tax the rich. Like that's their response to that stupid horse shit. So you know what that means? That means you're never going to make any fucking money, because as soon as you move up to a certain income bracket, now you're paying like just a ridiculous amount of money in tax, and you'll never be able to save.
As someone so eminently hopping on test and staying on indefinitely, would you recommend adding HCG to it if planning to have children a couple of years down the line?
Take HCG if you need it. It's a fertility drug. So if you have poor fertility taking test, then go on a fertility medication if you want to have kids. Thanks for the donation, Leon Kennedy.
These issues were never discussed. We ought to have people from both sides. Let me say.
So, Professor, I have limited time.
It's fucking retarded. Yeah. Fucking Canada, dude. All we had to do was vote Conservatives and things would at least get moderately better, but nope. What the fuck happened? Just incomprehensibly stupid. Alright, well, I'm gonna get to bed. I don't have to train tomorrow, so I should have more energy and not have what happened today. I was planning on streaming at like 6, but I needed to take a nap, and then my alarm didn't go off, and I think I woke up at like 9. But yeah, we'll stream tomorrow, hopefully at a reasonable time. But big thanks to everybody who donated on Streamlabs, really appreciate it. And I'll see you all tomorrow. Sweet dreams.